Cool. All right. Looks like we're live.
Cool.
Awesome. Yay. So just so you know, we're marking history right now because this is my first interview. The first interview that I host. So you're the first person ever that I'm interviewing. I'm sure it's not going to be the last person, but yeah. So I'm really excited. Thank you so much, Steve. I so appreciate you taking time for us to share your experience and all the value you're going to be sharing with us today. I'm really, really excited. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really happy to be here. You know, you've asked me, geez, like a month and a half ago if we can do this, and we've been so busy. I know rocking and rolling where you are, and I don't know what I've been up to my eyeballs in something. But yeah, I'm honored to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun, and this will be fun.
Yeah, it's true. We've been busy, but it's all positive stuff. It's all good stuff. Awesome. So I have gathered like a set of questions that I know like many people in network marketing and just, you know, affiliate marketers, any online marketers pretty much are dying to know when they're looking for their breakthrough or, you know, the answers on how to just get better results online. And perhaps it means what does it take to quit their job finally, or just what does it take to reach that first 5,000 or 10,000 a month? And no matter what it means to them, I know often when we start, especially, we're just like looking around everywhere for like the secret or like the key thing that will make it happen for us. So I've prepared some of the questions I know I had myself in the past and that many people have and ask me all the time. So yeah, and so the first question I had for you is how and why did you get started in the online industry? So basically,
why did I go online?
How did you get started online? Like, why? What was your main reason why you decided to get started?
Well, there's kind of two different. There's a little bit of a feedback. I don't know if it's coming through your speakers, but
my volume might be too high.Maybe I just
cool.
lowered it. Let me know if it.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's kind of a two. I kind of came into the network marketing industry for one reason, but I went online for kind of a different reason. So there's two different eras, two different eras of my journey. So do you want to know how I got started in network marketing, or why and how I started going online instead of going belly to belly?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I was thinking like how you got started in network marketing, because I think that's what you first started, you know, a network marketing business. So how did you get started? You know, when or how did that happen? And you can explain, yeah, your switch to the online as well, but also like the big reason why, you know, the big reason behind you taking that decision.
Sure, yeah. I can't. It's kind of a weird story, but it's not long, so don't worry.
That's good.
Danielle and I had gotten married because we lived completely separate lives before and after marriage. You know, we had a lot of fun. You know, we were different people, and you know, we were together for quite a long time. Then when we got married, we were living together. So married friends are different than single friends. So we started looking around for different people to hang out with. And honestly, how we came into network marketing, we had a bunch of our friends that were in a company down here locally, and they were building, and they were all our age. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's jump into this. We got invited over, saw the presentation. I'm like, well, it makes sense. You know, I love the business model. So let's do this. And here's the worst thing that can happen is it was a health and wellness product at the time. I'm like, we'll get healthier. and we'll hang out with a bunch of cool people. So that was pretty much how I got started. I mean, it sounds really ridiculous, but we were making a bunch of money, so that didn't make any difference. You know, we were doing pretty good. The economy was awesome. That was 2006. So yeah, that was that was it. But you know, man, once you get in, it's you can't leave, because once you get a taste of what's possible, it's you're in. You know. So we had some success. You know, we did really good actually, which was kind of crazy. You know, we started building quickly, and we were having a good time and doing a lot of local building. I never reached out online because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. We had MySpace back then, which I didn't know what I was doing then either.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And then I was with that company for, I think, a couple of years, maybe a year and a half. And the company's not around anymore, so I can say this. I'm not gonna tell you the name of the company, but it was a juice company, and I became known as the juice guy, and I didn't like it. So I stopped talking to my friends. I stopped talking to my family, and it was because I didn't want to. My name's Steve. It's not Juice. So, and so I ended up going online and you know, trying to figure out, you know, how can I make this work without, you know, talking to the people in my market here, and that's when I decided to go online. It wasn't because I was shunned or anything like that. I just didn't like the stigma about it, you know. So I started actually when we left that company, I was out of network marketing for a while. And when I say out, I meant I bounced from company to company to company to company. I mean, like 12, I don't know, like 100 different companies. I was like a bouncer. I didn't know that. Yep, I was all over the place because I was looking for the same thing that we had before, and it was. It was so easy the first time around because everything was so fast. Let me turn this one off. Because we built so fast, I was looking for that easy lead in and that easy build like we had before, and it just wasn't. And you know, I didn't know anything about anything, so every time a launch came out, I was like, a launch, brand new, I'm in. And then, you know, a month later, I'm like, I'm out. And then another one would come around, and we kind of bounced around a lot. So. That happened for a couple of years.
Wow.
And then nothing really came out of it. So, you know, and then of course that when Ray Higdon decided to throw his hat into the ring, I started getting phone calls from that dude. And I don't know how many times I told him to stop calling me because I was so burnt out on the industry, you know. And here's a funny thing is that I was burnt out on the industry. And listen, if this is going to segue into another question you have, just say, stop talking. So when I was so burnt, I was just burnt out, you know, and it was around 2009-10 area. And I wasn't ready to risk $20, let alone what it was to get into the company he was doing. And I was just like, no, you got to stop calling me, da, 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 da. Well, and then he finally did after like 8 or 9 times of calling me. I kept telling him no. Oh my gosh, never say no. Just say yes. Figure it out later. One of his people called me up, and she was way more persistent. And honestly, I signed up with her to get her to stop calling me. That's how I came back into the industry. Wow. But as soon as I did, I said, I'm building online. And that's when I started building online, because I wanted to start branding who I am and not my company.
Amazing. I didn't know that you actually went through several companies, and I think it's really awesome that you mentioned that, because there's like many people out there, and you know, it's true, like you wonder, you know, is it because you wonder, is it gonna eventually work for them? And Ray's another example, like he changed 11 or 12 times, and so it's the proof that you can be switching. Perhaps it's not working because it's not the right company for you or the right timing or whatever, but it proves that you can still be successful in the end, you know. So it's awesome that you share that. And so yeah, what was the main reason why? So you still wanted to push through. You said, okay, this time I'm building online. But what was your deep reason why you wanted to build your own business, basically?
I'll be honest and vulnerable here. I got tired of my friends busting my chops.
Oh,
Oh, what do you
really?
have this
Okay.
time? What's going on this time? What do you
Okay.
have this
Okay.
time, Krivda? And that's what people started asking me. Oh, you're gonna be rich again? And and I was just like, man, you guys are my friends. Like, I was
Mm,
excited. So um, that was pretty much it. I got tired of that. I got tired of hearing from them, and just I was like, you know what? The heck with you guys. I'm going to do this by my own. I'm by myself. I don't need you guys. I'm just, I asked you, gave you an opportunity to come with me. You don't want to come with me, then fine, no big deal. So I went online, and my niche at that point in time, the company was very, very specific on its niche. So I just started talking to people online about my niche, what was going on, and I started getting some success here and there. And I'm like, cool. So I started picking and choosing who to go back to in my warm market. People that I knew that had that same way of thinking, not the network marketing thinking, but that my niche was in metals, precious metals. So there is a specific person, very specific person that you would speak to with that. And that's where I was. So I built a lot of it online. In fact, some of those people are still with me today. It's almost 6 years later. And,
awesome.
and some of them are not. I looked down, I was actually looking at my whole organization going, man, you guys were in such a good position. You would have had hundreds and hundreds of people with you right now, but there's nothing you can do about it. But anyways, yeah, I went online because, and here's a funny thing about being online. There's always somebody up somewhere. Most people's days stop at 9 p.m. and I'm like, oh man, I'm ready to go. Like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm like still awake going, okay, I need somebody to talk to. So you just go on Facebook and you say, who's up? And you get all
That's
these
such,
people that say I'm up. So you
that's such a
start
good point. Yeah,
talking to
so
people.
true. There's so many people online. I mean, just on Facebook, there's billions of people. But yeah, I love that you share your reason why, and you're right. It was it's like you're being really real. It's not everybody that would have shared that kind of stuff, but the fact that became a drive for you, the fact that you were kind of like tired of people kind of laughing at your dreams or whatever, is really something that can be a tool for people. I've heard that once from Darren Hardy. I'm sure there's many people out there, it's not just Darren Hardy that came up with it, but he said something like you can either be driven by love or by hate. So it could be by the love of something, like something you want to acquire or like a goal you want to reach, and you love it so much, you want it so much that it drives you. Or it's the opposite, it's like something you hate so much and you're so sick of it, and you just don't want this happening anymore, and that becomes your drive.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like that's what was happening for you basically. It's
So
really cool.
just so you know, I still had no idea what I was doing. In fact, yeah, I go back sometimes, and it's almost embarrassing, but I know that everybody does this. I'll go back sometimes to start a conversation with somebody that I haven't spoken to in years, and I'll see that spam message. Hey, what's up? I got started in XXX. This is my product, XXX. Here's my link. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Oh my gosh.
No wonder
Yeah, and
everybody
you
stopped talking to me.
and you get sometimes I think one of the worst is like those, I don't know if I should say this, like you get, let's say, like a post from like let's say Oakley sunglasses,
Oh, that was,
and
yeah.
it's like
Yep.
I'm just not a fan, like I'm just not your target market, it's like
Yeah.
you're posting this out of nowhere. It's really strange. Yeah. Well, it's funny. So basically, you're saying still at that point you went online, but you still didn't know how to do it. You were kind of trying out things and stuff. And my second question for you was, can you share what you think has been your biggest breakthrough in your business? How did that happen? What is the moment I'm sure there was many, but maybe what was one of your first breakthrough or moment where you finally felt like you started to actually have results, finally started to generate leads and have people coming to you and stuff?
I didn't understand attraction marketing. I kept hearing about it. People were telling me about it, and I heard that it worked, but I just didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it. So I don't remember why I started blogging. I really don't. It was way back in like 2011. In fact, when I started stevekrivda.com, I was like, I remember Tom, I'm like, hey, Dad, guess what? I got a website. It's my name. He's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I have no idea. I just had no idea. He's like, well, how long does this take? How long does it take? I'm like, oh, about an hour a day. He's like, seems like a long time for not knowing what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, but I hear that it works. He's like, for what? And I'm like, I don't know. So it's ridiculous. It's so funny though. But I was coachable. I just did what I was told. And so my breakthrough was when you are creating value for yourself and putting value out in the marketplace. And I really honestly didn't know what value was. I just know that, it was when you learn something, you teach it. And this was 5 years ago. And I was like, all right, well, I'm learning stuff every single day. So I just kept, whatever I learned that day or that week or whatever, I would write a couple of pieces of content on it or do a video. And that was it. All of a sudden somebody would say, hey, I saw your video online, or I saw your post or something like that. What do you have going on? What are you up to? And I'm like, whoa, it works. I'm like, I don't even know how this is working. I had no idea how it was working. I didn't even have a capture page. I had no capture page. I didn't have an opt-in. It was just content. That was it.
But you still had people reaching out to you because of that content.
Yeah, that was when things started shifting, because I talked a little bit about my company, but not so much. I was talking about more of how I was speaking with people and how I was, having conversations on social media and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, it was really slow. I mean, I'm telling you, it was super duper slow because I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't even know where to put my posts. But people were coming across it, so it was working somewhere. But that was a big one. All of a sudden it was not the company, it was Steve Krivda. So it was like it was such a huge shift, and I'm like, holy smokes. I didn't know what branding was. I didn't know what the law of attraction was. I didn't know what attraction marketing was, but it was happening without me knowing it. And that's what's funny, because I talk to people all the time. I'm like, you don't understand. You've already branded yourself. You are who you are. Just people haven't seen it yet. And that was really, really true for me.
Awesome. And so that wasn't part of my questions, but how did you first heard about attraction marketing? And just like, what you're saying, like about the fact that you needed to share what you learned with other people.
First it was through Ray Higdon, because him and I had been friends for a long time. And I was kind of following what he was doing, because I was about 6 months behind him at that time. He was just like a bull in a china shop. He was just running through everything. And I was still working and taking my time. But I started talking to him and watching what he was doing. And I asked him, like, why are you doing what you're doing? He's like, well, I'm just bringing people along with my journey. And what's happening is I'm attracting people. And I'm like, all right, so what does that mean? And he says, well, if you want to attract a leader, you need to be one first. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And I'm like, well, how can you be a leader not getting any results? And I'm like, oh, I don't have any results, so I can't be a leader. And I'm like, so I like just had this head game was constantly going on. And then, can I say MLSP? Can I talk about that at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so
cool.
So just doing I don't know if you say that in English, like a parentheses, like yeah. So for you guys who are listening, so the way I met Steven and first heard about Steven is because of MLSP. So we're gonna be talking about it Steve is going to be talking to you about it. But I had first heard about him because of MLSP, and I first heard about him online. But then I saw him speaking on stage one day, and so you're gonna learn this probably for the first time, Stephen. But after hearing Stephen speak, I really had a moment. Like, I really had a moment where I felt, first of all, like, you're just so genuine and authentic that I felt I could relate with you so much. And for me, everything you said just makes so much sense. And it was also, yeah, the fact that I could relate, that for me was like, okay, it means it's possible for me too. And so that obviously it was a great moment for me. And then I went to meet you after you spoke. We met in person, we took a picture, and then we got to know each other more during the mastermind with Rigden. But it's really, ultimately, it's through MLSP, and we're very lucky because you give a lot of value there too. Like sometimes the wake up calls, sometimes the webinars. But yeah, absolutely, you can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I kind of saw a little bit of your post, but I didn't know how that all worked out. That was Top Runner Academy 2.
2 or 3. I think it was 3.
Was it? Because 3 was later. 3 was after the mastermind.
It's possible I was 2. Yeah.
I earned my way on stage on Top Runner Academy 2 because Roy had a contest, and I was like, I'm going to be on your stage. I don't care what I have to do. I'll sell it to the people on the street. I'll just figure it out. But yeah, that was something else. So yeah. So I asked Ray about My Lead System Pro, and he asked me a couple of questions, and basically techie questions. And I was like, I didn't know what he was talking about. He goes, yeah, you probably don't want to do it yet. Hold off a little bit. And then my buddy Alex, who lives here in Naples, knows Ray and me, and he's like, dude, I just got into this thing, My Lead System Pro, and it's absolutely outstanding. You need to do it. And I'm like, oh man, he told me no. I'm like, all right, I'll get into it. What's the worst thing that can happen? And now look. So I still didn't really understand attraction marketing, but I understood selling. And I knew that it was valuable. I just didn't know why it was valuable. I knew there was a bunch of great stuff at that point, and even kind of still now. All right, so back up for a second. I did absolutely horrible in high school. I did not make it very far in college. And it wasn't because I'm lazy. It was more of that I don't have the attention span to read or sit through webinars. Unless the webinar is like, wow, I'm like, all of a sudden I find myself going, and I'm on my phone all of a sudden. It's like I'm always off somewhere else. So, I have some very, very specific degrees, but it was in stuff that it's on things that I really, really enjoy. So fast forward to MLSP again. There was so much training, and I'm like, yeah, this is confusing. So I'm just going to sell it. So I would find people that were looking for it. How are you doing with your marketing? I would introduce, it's exactly what MLSP is about. I would approach them with my network marketing company. If they're happy with where they were, then we would talk about MLSP. I wouldn't even talk to them about it. I would just send them the video, and they would be like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm like, great, do the trial. Great, sign up. And that was pretty much it. I found a couple of quick ways to generate some leads with some ads, and next thing I know, I'm like, holy smokes, there's a whole bunch of people signing up, and I still had no idea how to use it. Not a clue. It was actually about a year later. And this is Brian's going to kill me when he hears me say this, but they offer a lifetime membership for quite a sum of money. And I was like, I'm in. I talked to my wife, and I'm like, look, this is what I'm paying per month. This is how long it's going to be. Like, if I continue to pay it per month, it's going to take this long to pay that. So I'm just going to do this. So I put it on the credit card, and apparently she forgot that I did that. And when the bill, I've always handled my bills. I've always handled my own bills, but I have such a crazy mind that I'm always thinking about money. Not anymore. I really don't care anymore. But before I was constantly, and I'm such a, I say I'm thrifty, and my friends tell me I'm cheap. I just don't spend money because I just don't care about things. You know what I mean? I spend money now on education. I spend money on family and going places and stuff like that. And that's the way I've always been. Things don't get me excited anymore. So I've told Danielle, I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with the bills. You handle everything. You are so organized. Like, just handle it all. Well, the bill came in, and she says, so what's this right here? This line item right here. And it was. And I was like, oh, that's that thing we spoke about. And she's like, it was this much money. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, how does it work? And I'm like, I'm not quite sure. And she's like, this weekend we're figuring it out, and we need to get this money back because it was a big, it was a bigger amount of money. And I said, would you help me? And she said, yeah. And she started going through it, and she's like, wow, this is incredible. And she taught me, she showed me how to go through it, because at that time it was really, MLSP was ridiculously confusing back then. It was a lot of information. There was not a lot of direction. And she's like, and she's very methodical. Like, golly, she drives me. We're like completely, when it comes to that, we're completely opposite. And she's like, well, if you do this, this is going to be your result. And I'm like, perfect. So I'm like, I did this, and I got the result. And that's how all that came about. And all of a sudden I understood attraction marketing. All of a sudden it clicked.
Because of
I'm like, oh, I've been doing attraction marketing this whole time, and I didn't even know it. And so all of a sudden,
that's amazing. You were doing it. Yeah. Or maybe it was your subconscious or something. Maybe you think you didn't know, but you knew in a way. Like, yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Really cool.
Yeah. Took that giant bill. I remember that day, man. Whew.
That's awesome. And then it also tells people that, sometimes you got to do the jump, like sometimes you got to, well, as an entrepreneur, you don't have a choice. Sometimes you're going to be taking risks, and maybe sometime you're going to fail, and hopefully not. But I mean, even failures is not a bad thing necessarily, but sometimes you just got to jump and try something that, there's a risk, there's a possibility that it might not work, but then if you give it your all, and you persevere and everything,
it will work. It works for everybody as long as they keep going.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, exactly. And so the next question I had for you, did you want to add something?
Yeah, real quick. That's the one thing I have. My tenacity is I won't quit. That's the one thing I do have. I'm not going to quit. Like, you literally have to put me 6 feet under for me to stop. That's the one. I mean, honestly, if I look back at my entire journey through the last 10 years, it's only because I didn't quit. Like, I took a hiatus, but I just never quit, and I just never went away.
And you're also open, like in the first place, based on just what you've shared so far, like many times you had people present you opportunities. If you didn't have the open mind, you just wouldn't have even tried, you would have moved on or whatever. But so you have the openness, and you have the perseverance, and just as long as you never quit. Absolutely. This is so important. And so, I just want to ask a question too, because like I said, it's my first interview, and I'm just wondering, like, if the display is the right display, because I see you like just on a tiny square at the bottom of my screen, but hopefully that's not how people see it. Like,
have I come up at all?
Yeah, you're on, like, I see you and everything. I hear you very well, but I wonder how it's displaying, if it's displaying you just in that small square like it is for me, or if like when you're speaking, is it going full screen?
When I start speaking, if you click on my picture, it'll enlarge it.
I have to click on your picture?
Yeah, sometimes it comes up automatically and sometimes it doesn't.
Hopefully it did. I'm okay. I'm gonna.
You would know because it would come up on your screen.
Oh, so now you're on a big screen. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay, man.
And I kept looking down, like I was looking down in the little square. But yeah, so it's different than, because on Zoom it's automatic when people speak.
Right.
Cool. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, right on, man.
All right, awesome. So yeah, my next question was, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know this. It's what is your main source of lead right now? So there's many people trying to do some free methods, or they're looking to the paid methods, and many people are trying to be everywhere, or when they want to choose a platform or social media, like they just don't know which one to choose, and blah blah blah. So yeah, what is your main source of lead right now? What is working the best for you right now?
It's changed all over the place. Over the past couple of years, I've tested out different stuff. You know, for a long time I was doing Instagram. I'm actually coming back into that. I opened up my account, and I was really doing awesome with it. And there was something weird going around with Instagram. And I went online and checked it out, and all of a sudden I couldn't access it anymore. You know, it wasn't that I did anything wrong or I got slapped with anything like that, because I'm very cautious of all the rules, because I can't afford to lose my social media accounts. And it was interesting because I had almost 8,000 followers, and all of a sudden it just went away. And I'm like, man, what the heck? So I went online and Googled it, and it was a bunch of people, probably, I don't know how many people. There were chat lines and forums everywhere. People were trying to figure it out. And I kept asking people, I'm like, are you guys marketers? And they said, no. And I said, well, what were you having up there? Like, my family's barbecue. I'm like, so I knew it wasn't me. But Instagram was working like mad. I was getting constant leads from there. And then when that went away, I had to turn back into Facebook. And I had just lost my Facebook ads account because I was being naughty and just pushing the envelope way too hard. And I lost that account, so I'd open up a new one. And so I started from scratch. So the leads that I get now, you know, it's weird because in the beginning, when I was a few years ago, when I was putting ads out, I could just you could put whatever you wanted out, and Facebook would approve it, and you get a ton of leads, and it wasn't that big of a deal. You can send them anywhere. And what I was doing was I wasn't putting out, I wasn't using like a standard generic capture page. I was creating my own, you know, and I think that was probably the biggest thing, was that, you know, wow, if you're using the same capture page as everybody else and they continue to say the same thing, they're like, well, what makes you different than anybody else? But if they click on something, it's like, hey, what's up, Steve Krivda? Man, thank you so much for clicking on this and trusting me and clicking on my website. You know, people are like, whoa, you know, who's this dude? And then, you know, so I was running traffic to those types of pages, and I still do that now, except for I don't use capture pages very much anymore. What I'm doing now is, I'm gonna let you in a little cool secret. What I'm doing now, and I haven't told very many people this, so this is cool. I was messing around with an ad one day, and a lot of times I drive traffic. I'll every week, or once a week, I try to blog, or like 4 to 5 times a week. So there's always one that's very generic, and I think the one I have now that I'm boosting is, I think it's like something 4 tips on generating leads on social media, or it's something you need to avoid, or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Anyways, but I know that it's generic enough to where you don't need to have a very advanced marketing education to understand it. So I boosted it, and that's what I'm doing there. And what happens is I've got my pop-up, and if they go and check out the article, the pop-up comes up. They know who I am. If they like my post, they're going to go into the pop-up, and I capture them as a lead. But what I was doing was, I kind of found this out on accident. I was boosting my post, and it was for kind of a big ticket item, and I'm like, you know, if I boost it for $500 and I make 3 sales, I'm going to be in the positive. So let's see what happens. So I boosted it for $500, and I let it. It was for like over a couple of days, and the more money you put on it, the more reach you get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was boosting it to a pretty specific niche, and I think I was between something like 10 and 25,000 people, or something crazy. And I was like, sweet, let's see what happens with this. So I was literally like, I had my mouse in my hand. I'm like, okay, refresh. Cool. An hour will go by and go back and refresh it really quick because I didn't want to spend the $500. But I wanted to see what was happening, because if I spent it in an hour, I'm like, oh crap, if I didn't get anything from it, that would be not a waste of money, but a very, very expensive learning experience. So what happened was I kept refreshing it, and I was getting clicks. And excuse me for 1 second. I gotta mute this. I gotta sneeze.
This is what happens when we're live.
So as I'm going through, and I'm getting these clicks, and it's like 25 cents, and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So I'm like, I'm gonna boost it again. So I put another $200 on it and increase the reach even more. And all of a sudden, I started getting leads because people were clicking on it, and I think I got like this is really cool. It was for like $26. Is all I spent out of all that money for like 2 days.
Nice.
I got and this may not sound like a lot of results, but there were very specific results. I got 13 leads from it, which is $2 a lead, which is very, very good. It's very targeted lead. I ended up getting like 20 something likes to my page, and like 150 likes to that ad. So like and here's something cool. So when you click on likes, the people outside your page, and it comes up this whole long list of people, you can find out who's already liked your page and who hasn't. So the people that haven't liked your page already, I started clicking on them, inviting them to like my page, and I got another 50 likes from that. So I got like 70 plus likes from that and like 13 leads. And so I increased my audience. So for like $26, I don't even know what is that. It's like 20 something, 30 something cents. And every person that likes my page, I consider them a lead, because I'm gonna have a conversation with them. So it was like 30 cents a lead. So it was crazy. So I started doing that. And I started boosting my posts that way. So those leads come in on it's a constant flow.
And is that something you learned through MLSP, or you just kind of figured out as you were doing it? You kind of discovered that?
I learned how to place my ads with some really good copywriting through MLSP. I learned how to find my niche. I learned the ages. I learned like where to put. I learned everything on how to run the ad, including my posting and everything like that, my image, everything like that I learned through MLSP. The extra little bit of stuff, it was just me just kind of goofing around and see what I can figure out. So I kind of tweaked it and took it to another level. But everything I learned from posting ads, because I was terrified of doing it, because when you're on the outside looking in, you're thinking about running an ad, you're like, oh, do I want to waste that kind of money? And like that was the mindset I had. I was like, I want to waste it. But when you think about like if you're running an ad to an item to get a lead to something, and say you're going to make $100 profit. Well, if you run a $100 ad, you're going to hit a lot of people. So if you can get one sale, you're even. If you get two, holy smokes, now you're $100 profit. That's freaking awesome. Then you take that money and dump it back in. It's just an interesting thing. It's just change your mindset. But yeah, everything that I learned from my Lead System Pro.
Yeah, and that mindset thing you just mentioned, it's what a lot of people struggle with too, especially when they start with paid advertising or want to start with paid advertising. They're scared of losing money. They're scared of, just wasting money away. But yeah, the idea is, of course, you're gonna need to test it out in the beginning, and you kind of have to be careful, especially if you don't know what you're doing. We're lucky because we learn everything we need to learn in MLSP for that. But yeah, once you start getting results, all you need is to convert sales. When you're starting making sales, if you're profiting, doesn't matter. Like, you can be investing $2,000. If you're profiting $5,000, you can put as many $2,000 as you want.
Right.
It's not a waste or an actual spending. It's an investment, and yeah.
Right. And in the beginning, I was only putting like $5 out. That was the minimum you
Mm-hmm.
could do was $5. So I'm like, all right, I'll do $5, see what happens. And when you're running an ad versus a boost, it's two different types of payments. So, in my opinion, I believe that when you boost a post that you already have, it's way less. It's just way less. The conversions are less per conversion. But even
Especially,
if I spent $2,000 and I made $500, that's exciting because that's $500. If you can do that in a couple of days, I mean, you do that twice a week, that's $1,000 a week. You know how hard? I mean, most people they have to work 80 hours at their job to make $1,000 a week.
exactly, exactly. So it's all about that mindset thing. Yeah, awesome. And so the next question I had for you is a little different. It's I wanted to ask you if you could share what your daily routine looks like. So if you had like a special routine or some things that you do every day that you believe is helping you get the results that you're getting, basically.
Mm. Okay. I've been asked this so many times and it changes. So, and this is understand, like I take Friday night to Saturday night off. That's my time of disconnecting completely because I believe that you need to disconnect. I don't care what people say. You know, there's people that drive. That will catch up to you. I've run into a wall several times and it puts me down for, a week. Sometimes I get sick. You've got to take 24 hours during your week, give it to your family, give it to yourself, do whatever you have to do, but you got to like take this thing, put it on the charger, put it somewhere else on vibrate, turn it off, do whatever you have to do to just walk away. So on Sundays, I typically I'll do pre-scheduled phone calls. That's all I do on Sunday. Unless I get a wild hair up my butt and I feel like doing a bunch of videos, then I just come in here and do a bunch of videos for the week. But throughout the week, I wake up. I do my best to get up before the kids do because I take them to school because I'm full time. So like I'm the daddy of the I get to take the kids, so it's awesome.
Exactly.
So I try to wake up before they do. I work out, and then I get them ready for school. Now I take them to school, and then I start. That's when I start my routine. So like if I work out before I take them, I always devote time for prayer, and then so that workout prayer part of it is either before or after school for them. So that always happens, and then I will have on the way home, like on the way into school, we just talk. It's about 25-minute drive. And I just talk with the kids. We have fun. And then on the way home, I plug in an audio. So I get at least 25 minutes a day of some sort of an audio. Right now I'm listening to Mark Divine, The Way of the Seal. Very intense, super awesome. Listening to that right now. And it's just, it gets you ready for the day. And then when I get home, I use Microsoft Outlook, so it pops up and it says, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Okay, here's your audios. Here's your vision. Read your vision. I got to read my vision. And then there's a couple of like 5 to 6 minute videos, like motivational YouTube videos that I found somewhere. I don't remember how I found them. And then I get pretty jazzed up. And then there's a couple of 2 days a week. I do a call at 10 o'clock methodically, Monday and Wednesdays. And then so if I do those, I do those. And then I write my piece of content or do a video, and then I just spend the rest of the day talking to people.
Awesome. So that like motivation thing, the reading your vision and all that, that's something you do daily.
Yeah, I have to because even where I am, the voices are strong, man. Those voices that say, I was sitting there and it was really funny because this is going to sound horrible. I was like, because I'm going to live the dream tomorrow. I'm leaving at like 6 a.m. And I was making my call. I didn't get up enough. I should have been up at 5:45, but I didn't get up until 6:15. So it was too late to work out. So I took the kids to school, came home, and I didn't even get my coffee. I'm like, ugh. So I worked out and I made my coffee and I'm like, it's so nice outside. I can get the beach chair and just sit outside and just get some sun today and just relax. It's going to be a crazy weekend. And like, I was so close to doing that. And I was like, you know what? Let me go sit in my office for a little bit and see what I have going on. And I plugged in an audio. And as soon as I did, I got ramped up. And now I'm like, all right, so I got to kick some butt today. So it's, yeah, if you're not constantly in mindset, man, you do what the evil voices tell you, and stuff. That's a hard thing to fight. You know, you want to watch TV, you want to just chill, you want to, spend time with the family. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend time with family. However, it's better to push it off a little bit now for maybe 12 to 18 months, 12 to 24 months if it's really long, and to spend the rest of your lives together whenever you want. That's it's worth it. It's worth pushing that off just a little bit.
Yeah, that's very deep. Yeah, I'm sure even the most disciplined, we all get those challenges, those moments where we don't have the same willpower, or just things comes up. And I'm sure, like you say, like you're in Florida, so it's like, yeah, if you can have quick access to the beach and stuff, it would always be easier to do that. But yeah,
it's 50 I'm glad.
I'm glad you didn't choke our interview.
Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. But it's funny because the audios that I listen to, it's from people that are champions at everything, like champions in Olympic, football, wrestling, and it's them speaking. Basketball, it's them talking. One of the last things, there's a guy being interviewed, and I don't even know who he is, and he's sitting there, and he's all by himself. He's being interviewed by all this press, and he's just sitting there, and he leans in really close, and he's like, I watched so-and-so, and I saw them become champion. And I said to myself, why not me? Why can't I be that person? And I was like, that's right. Anybody can be that person. I get you can see, I can see the video when I'm doing it. And it's like, and there's different excerpts. You can hear different things. So it's, they talk about, I'm very into mindset. I believe the techniques are good. I believe the strategies are good. But if your mind is not right, none of that means anything. You won't do it. You're just not going to do it. So one of the things that says, you say you want it bad enough, but here you are watching TV. And I'm like, ooh, ouch. You say you want it bad enough, but you didn't do this. You say you want to do good in school, but you're not practicing your arithmetic or your math your arithmetic or your reading. You say you want it bad enough, but your actions are not showing that you want it bad enough. And it's like, ooh, ouch. That's painful to hear, but it gets you in the right mindset. It's like, all right, I want it bad enough, or whatever. So then you sit down at your desk and you just start working. So if you're not listening to that stuff to get you in the mode, then I believe that it'll be very short-lived. Excitement only lasts a little while.
1000%. Yeah, I agree with you totally. Just like you said, I think we should always put so much emphasis on this. You can know everything you have to know, but if you don't have the right mindset, it's not gonna happen. And like those champions or athletes, whatever, they also have days that they just don't feel like doing it, but they still go to the gym. They still do it. And so that's the approach everyone should have as an entrepreneur. Absolutely. So I don't know, we have, do you need to get off at 12 exactly, or can we stretch it a little bit?
Pretty close. I got a guy that was looking to sign up with my primary. Hang on one second. Let's see where he is.
Okay, that's important. I had two more questions. Okay. So we can do it quick. So one that's also I'm sure a lot of people want to know, and even myself, is I've seen how you've been awesome at delivering so much content. Practically every day you get a blog out, you're doing videos, and you just always have great content, great ideas for content. So I wanted to see if you would share how do you generate so much content, and where you get your inspiration for the content you share.
Man, that's actually kind of easy. For a long time, I used the education MLSP, my Elite System Pro. I just went back there and just opened up something that I wanted to learn, or something I thought people would like. I went through it and I would just create content from it. I did that for a long time. And what I do mostly now is the conversations that I have with people. I'll just listen. Like I'm a very active listener in conversation. So a lot of times I'll take notes from our conversation and I'll hear something that they struggle with. And I'm like, ooh, okay, cool. And I'll say, hey, I'm probably going to do a blog post on this. So nothing personal. So I know that if somebody is struggling from that, that maybe somebody else is, or maybe it's just something I'm going through. That's a good one too. You know, so like the post I'll do today is actually Brian Finale, the founder of MLSP. He did a blog post yesterday, or he did a webinar last night on 10 things that you should do to maximize your results from events. I'm like, oh, that'd be a great post for tomorrow. So I have that YouTube video up, and when we're finished here, and I'm finished with my next guy, I'll go through it and I'll hear some things, and what I'll do is I'll just write it in my own language. So I get it from everywhere. Constantly, you have to be constantly learning in this. And here's a neat thing. The more you learn, the more education that you have in the industry. Like when you have conversations with somebody else, it not only increases your confidence, increases your posture on the phone, but also puts you in a good place, because now when they're like, oh, what do you do? And then you can, or if you ask them what they're doing to generate leads or grow their business, and they're like, well, I'm doing this, and you go, man, if you'd like, I can help you a little bit with that. And then you can start sharing some value with them. They're like, wow, where did you learn all this? And it's like, funny you ask. And then I just lead them into whatever, it's either my primary MLSP, personal coaching, or or one of our products.
Yeah, and that's also where I learned the very first time. I've heard it many times from Renaud, but the very first time I learned this concept, it was from MLSP once again. So yeah, learning, like investing in yourself and increasing your value by learning, studying, investing, coaching. As a member of MLSP, we get access to a lot of value. So just like doing anything you can to increase your value and put it out there to help other people.
And then there's these guys. When you go to events and you have all these different notes in your notebooks, there, I've got stacks of notebooks in my cabinet. And if I'm really drawing a blank, I'll just open it up. I'll go, well, that seems good enough, and I'll open it up. And what I'll do is if it's old, I'll bring it current, and I'll just create something from that.
So true. Events are so good for that. Absolutely. Cool. And so the last question I get for you is basically for any people, any people that are starting, or people that have been in network marketing or have been trying to build their business online and still didn't get their breakthrough. So what would be your best advice, or any good advice you would have for people starting out?
The best advice I could give is take a step back outside of you and look inside at you. Look at inside of what you're doing. Look at your social media pages. If you have a website, look at your website and ask yourself this really simple question: would I join me? If I saw me, am I the person that I would want to work with? And if not, just go, okay, well, who do I need to be to attract the person I want to work with? And when that happens, all of a sudden, see, it's funny because our mind, when you ask yourself a question, you'll go insane until you answer it. And you know that. Obviously, you're shaking your head because you know this.
Yeah.
So if you say, all right, so who do I need to be? What do I need to do? All of a sudden, you're going to go, okay, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do? All right, so I didn't like how that looks, so let's take that off and start moving this around. All of a sudden, you're like, whoa. And I'll tell you, it's funny. I was watching an interview with a guy named Jack Ma. He did, I think it's called AbuDabi.com. And he started with $10,000. And the guy's I think he's worth $20 billion now. And it was over a 7-year period. And I sat there and I was like, whoa, 7 years, $20 billion? I'm like, golly. I wonder how I could do that. So I started asking myself these questions. How can I build $1 billion? So I started going through all of these things. And all of a sudden, within about a day or two, the answers started coming because I kept asking myself, how can I be a billionaire? And it's not because of the money. It has nothing to do with the money. But if I know if I can do it, I can show other people how to do it too. So just yeah, take a step outside of what you're doing and look in and say, if I looked at my Facebook page and I saw a bunch of complaining and whimpering and all this kind of stuff, it's like, what I want to follow this person. And if the answer is no, then you've got to make some shifts. And if you need to make a shift, then just get with somebody, find a mentor, find a coach, find somebody you resonate with, and just start talking to them and have a conversation with them. Conversations are free. It just takes the stepping outside your comfort zone to start that conversation. And that was something that took me a long time to do.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool that this is the advice you're giving, because it was definitely one of my breakthrough. In the beginning, I would be like, okay, I need more leads. I need whatever, like I need to talk to more people, or I need to learn more. I don't know. It's like I was just like constantly telling myself that, and just like kind of stressing out about it, and nothing would happen. And then when I started asking the question, like, how can I get more leads? How can I promote to that next level? How can I? And then the answer comes, and it's not necessarily automatically, but it's like
right.
your brain keeps looking for the answer. And sometimes you're at the grocery, like waiting in line in the middle of your day, and it's like poof, like this person that you had forgotten about, that told you that they weren't interested. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's true. Like, I need to follow up with this person. And yeah, the answers just like kind of come magically when you ask the right questions. So cool. And it's true for anyone. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're starting or if you've been in business for a while. If you because it's also like, instead of coming out of a place of needs, you're really you're just like asking yourself the right questions.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset thing also, in a way.
Yeah. It applies everywhere. Even in my father-in-law's concrete business, he built everything he has on service, because concrete's concrete. You dump it, it gets hard. That's pretty much it. It's really hard to mess up. But his biggest thing was service. How can I service people? How can I serve the population without, obviously going crazy? And that's how he built his entire organization. He's been around for, I don't know, something like 15, 16 years. He made it through the recession. He made it through everything. And it was because of the reputation that he built, because they are not the cheap guy in town. People can go cheaper, but they don't. They go for him because they know that his word is his bond. So when you're asked that question, would you follow that person? Would you go to that person? Then he can honestly say, yeah, of course they would go with me. So it works in everything that we do, everything.
Yeah.
Would I be the father that my kids want to look up to? And if the answer is no, then you've got to change something. Am I the good husband that I need to be? Do other husbands look at you and go, man, you really kind of make me look bad? Perfect. Then step up. Am I going to change who I am?
So at that point, you just have to, if the answer is no, you just have to ask your question, okay, how can I be the leader that everyone's looking up to? How can I be a better marketer? How can I, it's awesome. Really cool. So time is up, unfortunately. I would like speak all day. Speak all day with you. It's 12 right now.
Oh. Hang on one second.
What happened?
Okay, we're good. I had the wrong Thursday. You don't have to be smart to do this. You just have to be consistent.
Okay, so that was not the.
That's way too funny.
That was another day. Okay, all right, cool. Well, I mean, it's perfect. It's been an hour already. I went through all the questions that I had. And so I guess to kind of close it off, what would be like, how could people reach out to you if they want to reach out to you? I know you're going to be this weekend on stage, speaking on stage, right?
Yeah,
For the
yeah, I got invited back to Live the Dream 7, which is exciting.
Live the
I was
Dream.
talking to Brian Finale earlier, and like, if you could have seen me, if you could have caught me then, I was a mess. Like, was a mess. Like this. All right, so I'm going to go into something, okay, since we have a little bit more time now. I believe in creating a vision. Creating what you want in your life, not necessarily some kind of weird voodoo hypno thing. I'm talking about like real stuff. Stuff that, like, if you ask yourself the question of like, if I had an unlimited amount of funds, what would my life look like in 6 months or 12 months? What would I be doing? You know, would I be walking on stage? Would I be sitting on the beaches of the world? And what would I be doing? And I had this vision, and I'm gonna do my best to hold it back because this is something big to me. And it's Thursday. When are you gonna put this live?
I mean, it's going to be live right after we're done,
Right
because
after?
it's going to be on YouTube. Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna hope that the other people don't see this. So I'm on a panel, and it's like going to be a grill question type of panel. We don't know the questions. Brian Finale is going to be asking the questions. So there's going to be 5 of us. And I've done this before. It can be pretty intense.
Intense, huh?
And I said to Brian, because I've got this vision in my head of one of the most powerful songs that I know is "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey, obviously. But the biggest thing is not necessarily because of what it means to me, but what it means to my oldest son. And it lights him up. You know, he gets it. He hears it. He hears that kind of what the song is about. So when I hear it, I see him. So it takes his emotion and my emotion and puts it together, and it really gets me going, because that's the whole thing, is you just can't stop believing. I mean, I mean, if you really want to hit your goals, just stop believing in it. Don't stop believing in yourself. So I messaged Brian this morning, and I said, hey, just curious, what would be the odds that I could have a song playing when we come up on stage? He's like, yeah, what do you want? I was like, I would love to have "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey, because I have had this vision of hearing that song as I'm walking down an aisle. And this has been years. This has been a couple of years in the years of walking down, and a bunch of people being there. And I can see it, a bunch of people being there and walking up on stage and just turning around and breathing it all in, and just feeling that feeling of, you know, I'm here, I've made it. So he's like, and I told, because first he said, do you ever watch wrestling? Remember the Hulk Hogan? If you don't, Hulk Hogan has a theme song. It's like something America or something like that, because he sees me as the American dad. So anyways, he's like, this song. I'm like, no. I said I would like Don't Stop Believing for Journey. He's like, oh man, that would be great. And I haven't told the other panelists yet. It's going to be a surprise for Saturday. I just told them that something's going to happen. I've talked to Brian, so it's just going to be fun. And so it's going to be a dream. You know, I mean, a dream is going to be coming true for me this weekend. So I'm ridiculously excited. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening this weekend. I'm getting the L5 Honey Badger Award. I'm going to get a cool shirt. I'm going to get a jersey, you know, being inducted into this exclusive club and all that kind of cool stuff. But that's cool. I mean, that's amazing. But it's that vision that I created a long time ago of standing there and just hearing the song. I'm gonna be a disaster. Like I'm just gonna be a mess. Like I'm gonna have somebody record it. I may or might not post. I probably should post it, but it's, you know. And so here's the thing. The whole point of what I'm saying here is this. And this is something actually Ray Higdon told me this a couple months ago. I had this vision of myself of speaking in front of 20,000 people, which is my next biggest vision. That's the next one that's coming. And I said, and I put it out there. I said, 1 second, because this is my ultimate dream. When this happens, I'm done. I mean, I'm going to continue going forward, but this is the big one.
Wow.
So my big vision is to be standing in front of 20,000 people, accepting this, earning this, I guess recognition or whatever you want to call it, and having Danielle, my wife, and my 2 boys there, and just being grateful, thanking my team and all this kind of stuff. And he writes back to me, and I put this openly on Facebook because I believe in making things real. And I put it openly, and he says, he wrote below it, he's like, you cannot have a vision unless there's something inside of you that believes it can be real. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. Now I just have to make it happen. So like, if you have a vision, like if you create something, if you close your eyes and you see yourself being somewhere, or if you want to be successful, it's like, what does success look like for you? Do you want to impact people? Then you need to be on stage. If you want to inspire tens of thousands of people, you need to be somewhere where people can see you. And that scares people a lot. It scares people when you think about that kind of stuff, because it's really putting yourself out there, and it's scary. 20,000 people, I'm probably not gonna be able to speak. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm probably gonna have to hand the mic to Danielle. So like, I get that, I get the uncomfortableness, but imagine the impact that you can have on people from telling a story of struggle and where you've been to where you are when you are successful. And what happens when that happens? You might inspire one person out of 20,000 people, but imagine if they inspire another person, it inspires 100,000. So like, you've got to get this vision wrapped. You got to wrap your head around where you're going to be. It's not where you are now and what the journey looks like, and this freaking crazy ass big mountain that you're looking up, trying to figure out how am I going to get up there. It's like, what does it look like from the top? And you're looking down, and there's a bunch of people coming with you. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. You showed me that it was possible. Thank you. Let's go with let's go with Karine. Let's get up there, man. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So when you create that vision for yourself, know that it's possible through you. I mean, obviously there's, I'm very Christ-centered, so obviously, you know where I am with that. But anything is possible if you can think it. You can make it possible because your brain is telling you this is possible. So all you have to do is walk towards it. So this weekend is going to be crazy. I'm going to have to bring lots of tissues. I'm like a big baby.
No, but that's an important point though. It's not just thinking about your vision. It's mainly feeling your visions. So it's the emotion you're able to generate as you're thinking about your vision. It's actually what's attracting it and making it happen.
Real. Yeah,
exactly, making it real. Exactly. So it's very important that when we do create that vision board or write those vision words or whatever, even if we look at them every single day, if it's not generating any emotions, there's a chance that it's never going to happen. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the vibration, like.
Yeah, and here back in the 80s, they ran a test on some Olympic athletes. And what they wanted to know was, because they talked about visualization so much, who was really good at that was Muhammad Ali. He was amazing at speaking things. Another person is good at is Conor McGregor. He's a mixed martial artist. He's amazing at he doesn't predict. He believes it so much that he just knows. He's like, all right, in the second round, in minute 37, I'm going to knock this person out. So when he sees the clock, he's like, oh, it's time. I need to do this because I've already seen it happen. So he clocks the person and it's over. I've never seen anybody do that like those two people. But they ran a test on athletes in the Olympics back in the 80s. And what they did was they hooked up all these electrodes to their brain. And what they found out was that the exact same, I guess we would call it neurons. I had to look at the article again. They fire exactly the same whether they're doing the actual movement or they're just visualizing it. And that's huge because it's a lot of people are like, oh, visualization is just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It's not. It's a physiological change in your brain that creates it to be real. So all you have to do is, You know, when you're seeing yourself running through and you're crossing that finish line, all you have to do is just be that person. And it's really kind of crazy. It's such a far out way of thinking. When you think about it, it's really not hard. It's like, you know, you see yourself doing the webinar and you're like, see yourself sitting here, you know, in front of your computer. Even if you have to put a picture of yourself up, you know, you see yourself sitting there. It's like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, you know. And I don't know. It's just something. I don't remember where I was going with that, but that was just a neat little thing I was thinking about.
That's, I got a quote. It's, I don't know if it's like the exact one I was looking for, but from Muhammad Ali, that says it's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen.
Right on, man.
Yeah, he just kept repeating, you know, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. Yep. And yeah,
and he was.
Yeah,
he was the greatest. He was amazing. Yeah. So like Absolutely. And he just told himself, I'm the greatest. That's it. And people thought he was arrogant and cocky, but he won. So what can you say?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, so people are going to be able to meet you in person if they go, if they're going to live the dream. They also can find you on your website. So your website address, I can't remember, is it just yourname.com or is it?
It's stevekrivda.com.
stevekrivda.com. And I'm also aware that you have a brand new ebook that just came out.
Yep, it's pretty intense.
Awesome. I'm gonna need to get it too.
Yeah, if people follow it, they'll it doesn't matter if they're doing affiliate marketing, MLSP, network marketing. If they follow it, they have to follow it to a T though, and it will be scary, and it will push them outside their comfort zone. It will be fun, but the end will be great. But yeah, it's a 30-day boot camp on exactly how to just. I got to say this. If you run for 30 days exactly how I'm saying in the book, the next 30 days will be so much easier. And what happens is your results will compound on themselves. You know, when I hit L1, people are like, yay, L1, good job, Steve. And, you know, I had a little bit of success in my network marketing company. And then all of a sudden I hit L2 and then L3 real fast. And then I hit L4, remember, a month. And it was like really, really quick. And all of a sudden people were like, whoa, what's going on with Krivda? So people started calling me and wanting to work with me, instead of me having to chase people. So like people always, they think that, you know, network marketing is going to be hard. It's only hard in the beginning. And it's the steps aren't hard. The consistency is hard. So like when that starts compounding on itself, it will, you just have to accept it. You know, so if you can run hard for 30 days and it's not going to be fun, and I do give a day off, you know, it's a 30-day period, you know, it's only six days a week. And I lay it out pretty intently. I give a graph on exactly how to do it, how to follow your day, and how to maximize every minute. You'll be amazed at how much time you're going to have to do as much stuff as you want. It's intense though. It's really intense. I have kind of followed it. It's not easy. It's not easy. But if you do follow it, you know, if you're able to commit to it, then yeah, you get huge, massive results. It's exciting. I can't wait to, like, people are starting to get it. I think I put it out Thursday is when I finally completed it of the last week. So it's only been out for a week, and I got a bunch of people that are on it now. And I don't know if anybody has had enough, I want to say, you know, guts to do it, you know, because it is intense, and it involves a commitment. But really, if you really think about it, can you imagine? I don't want to. We'll figure if they started it tomorrow. We'll say if on September 12th, you know, if their business tripled or doubled, what would that do? Like, is it worth Absolutely. It? Is it worth a month? Yeah, it's crazy.
Of course, I'm sure. Yeah, and it's even if they, like, I mean, if we want to follow your book, even if we don't follow it perfectly, anything that will do that, get us out of our comfort zone, or just make us take more massive action, is obviously going to result in more and better and more results.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go.
I put a graph in it. If you just follow the graph and see where, and it's not, and I think I put this in a book and I can't remember, but the graph is not to create your day. It's to see where your day is. You never use it to create your day. You see how your day is running. So like, and that's where most of us screw up. The first time I did it, I usually, all the stuff that I told you typically takes me till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The first day I did it, I was done by noon. I was like, whoa, I saved 3 hours in a day. It was like half my day. So like I saved 3 hours. So I just, I happened to be leaving town. So my buddy came over. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. I have nothing to do right now. So I was leaving town. So I was like, I'm going to clean the house real quick so Danielle can come home and the house is clean. So like I had all this extra time. It wasn't that I was purposely wasting time. It's just, you know, you get stuck on cat videos on YouTube. And, yeah, pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun when that happened, when you were like super productive and you actually finished earlier than you thought, and then you actually really feel
awesome.
Yeah, you're really excited. Yeah, it's really fun. Cool, yeah. Cool. So for the link to get your book, is there a way I can share it right now during the Hangout, or do I post it under the YouTube video?
You probably have to post it. It's real simple. It's stevekrivda.com ebook or /ebook. Yeah.
stevekrivda.com/ebook. And and yeah, so and so if about MLSP, also you're certified coach now.
Yep. Yeah. That was pretty exciting.
It's official?
Yeah, I got chosen a couple. Yeah. Actually, it was September of last year is when I first found out about it. I was driving Brian crazy. And finally, it came to fruition about a month and a half ago. It was just made public like a couple weeks ago. So it's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like second guessing if I was supposed to talk about it or not.
Yeah, that was good.
Cool. It's really awesome. So there's like so much going on for you right now. It's so awesome. But you've put on the work. Like I've seen you go. Like I've seen you for years now. Like, well, at least it's more than a year, that's for sure. But it's probably been 2, if not more. And yeah, you're out there. You're putting the work. You're constant. You're providing a lot of value, and you're very generous with your time and with people and with those webinars that you do, and yeah, everything. So it's possible for everybody, but you're such a great example of, everyone agrees with that. Like we love your authenticity, but we also like when I send the invitation for the webinar, I said, like, this guy is the real deal. Like you really are a leader, and you're really doing the stuff, you know, you're really leading from the front. That's what the word I was looking for. So,
Thanks,
so it's no surprise, you know, that that you're getting the results that you are, and with the perseverance, like you said before, and everything. And so it's exciting. I'm really happy. I I wish I knew how to put you on screen correctly from the start of this interview. But but it's been great. It's been great talking to you, and you shared so much stuff with us. I'm again so grateful. And so, so I will be posting, well, this, like I said, like this video will be on YouTube. I will be posting the links for people that want to grab your ebook and everything. I'll post the links under the video, and they can find you on the website and everything. So
yeah, when they get the ebook, they'll get an email from me, and it has my number, my email address, my Facebook, everything in it. And here's something funny. I was thinking about this on, what is today, Thursday? On Tuesday, I went to our boys were leaving camp, so they had a big talent show, and I saw a girl that I went to high school with, and I hadn't spoken to her in I don't even know how long, but I prospected her, and she's like, I was like, oh my gosh, how are you? And she's like, oh, I'm doing good. How are you? And I was like, and you know me, I'm pretty like animated. I'm like, everything's so awesome. She's like, I know, I see it on Facebook. And just gave me
She saw
this
what?
smirk. She's like, I know, I saw it on Facebook. I see it. I follow you. I see it. And like you can see that it was killing her to have to say that. And but so it's funny, you know, everybody's watching. And I
Oh
honestly
yeah.
haven't seen her posts in, you know, because you only see the posts of the people that you interact with. And it just kind of was like, you know, it didn't make me, I felt a little bit bad for her because, you know, because I know her personally and we were friends in school. But it was, that was just little things like that are confirmation that, you know, no matter what you're doing, people are watching you. So just keep being you, keep being awesome, and just don't stop, man. Freaking A, man. I see so many people quit that they shouldn't have quit. Drives me crazy. I'm like, man,
That's
just give it a couple more
such
months.
such an important point you're sharing there too. I also recently got people like seriously, like I was like, whoa, like I didn't even know you were in my Facebook, or you know, and even people that I don't know, I could say this, but people that I truly believe, well, I felt anyway, that weren't taking me seriously when I started, and maybe I didn't have the credibility that I needed. But it's really, really people that I never thought would reach out to me, and recently they did. I was like, oh my gosh, like yeah, they were watching. They were on my
Yeah.
Facebook, and they were watching. Like many more recently, that like many other example like that happened recently. And so yeah, it's another good reason to keep going and persevere and do your best. And like you say, being real also so important, being yourself, so much easier anyway, you know,
Yeah.
than trying
Yeah.
to well, it's hard, like when you start with the videos, for instance, and even like this would be officially my first webinar. I've been on webinar before, but I was like as a guest. And it's what scares us is like we have this idea that it needs to be a certain way, and we're trying to act a certain way or do things a certain way, but it's there's no real like certain way. There's you
Yeah.
just have to be whoever you are usually,
People are
and
gonna dig
that's
you.
yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
too. Than because yeah, when you're not yourself, you're not comfortable. People see it and they feel it, and it's hard for them to connect with you that way. So it's so important to. Good point again.
Heck yeah, man. Well, cool. Awesome. This has been awesome. I've had a good time,
Yeah, it was
Karine.
very fun.
Heck
I
yeah,
guess
man.
we marked history now. It's like forever. My first interview was with you.
That's so awesome. What an
Always
honor,
remember
man.
that.
So when you're gigantic, I'd be like, I was the first.
And by the way, on my website, exactly, on my website, I have a picture on stage with Ray and Jessica when I was receiving the like the plate, the certification from the end of our mastermind. It's the picture you took.
Oh, cool. Oh, and what's your
Yeah,
website?
it's KarineRenaud.com. So, and if you go there, it's like in the about section at the very bottom, and I put this picture. I use it. I use it quite a bit, and I was like, wow, it's. I just remember because you were sitting next to me at the event, and you offered to take a picture again. Like when I say you're so generous, so you offered to take a picture, and you took it because I had the another picture, but it didn't come out good. So I'm using your picture all the time now.
Awesome. I'm trying to. My computer's messing with me. Oh, what a cool site.
Thank you. Yeah, it's new. Came out
Man, it
recently.
looks awesome.
It's in the about page, and you scroll at the very bottom.
I was looking at your capture page. 101 top earner secrets. Holy smokes. Hey, look, there's me. Nice.
Yeah, that's true. You're there too. Yeah, in the about page.
So let's see.
Did you find it?
Oh, wow. Awesome. Cool. Cool, man. Look at all these people on here. Caesar, Harbert, Hoverson. Good Lord.
I just put the best people there.
Cool. Yeah, you need to make sure
Yeah,
you
you're on my
guys
new
go to that
site.
site. Awesome. Well, cool,
Yeah,
man.
pretty cool.
All
So
right, we should probably cut this off. People are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh."
yeah, again, another 2-hour webinar. Like, who has time for this, you know? Yeah, no,
Well, hopefully they
it's
got
been
value out of
awesome.
it.
Yeah, hopefully. So thank you again. I wish you so much luck. I'm sure it's going to be great, you know, for your event, whenever you're going to speak, and even for the panel thing. I'm sure it's gonna go great, but I still wish you luck.
Thanks.
And yeah, thank you again a million times for this. It was a lot of fun, and you shared so much value. I know it's gonna help so many people, because the video is gonna stay out there too on YouTube for I don't know how long. So
Awesome.
yeah, lots of people will benefit from it. So thank you again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Karine. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm really grateful that you had asked me. I thought it was really cool. You know, I'm always this is always an honor. It's very cool because you're such an awesome person. You're such a great person. And
Thank you.
Your marketing mind is something we still need to have a conversation. I need to tap into that mind.
Yeah, there's something you said earlier about your paid ads. I got a really nice trick I learned recently, and I learned it from the person that does the ads for Brian Tracy.
Oh,
I can't
nice.
remember, unfortunately, the name, but it's a way to like scale your results. But
cool. Yeah, I would love to. All
have
that
more
stuff
control
is
on your budget.
all the tracking and split testing, all that kind of stuff. I've never learned. I just never learned that kind of stuff. I just watch. So like that's my testing. Refresh. And it's like that. I know that's not a good way to do. That's not a good way to practice, but it's very easy to do. It's very simple to do. So I would love to. I've made it this far without doing it, and I would love to see what would happen if I actually learned how to do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely.
Well, yeah, can you imagine? Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Anytime,
Cool.
Steve.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right,
So
Karine. Well,
talking again
cool.
soon.
Yeah, man, this has been amazing. Thank you very much for all this.
Thank you so much, and have an amazing day.
Thanks. You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.